A big legal battle is brewing in the AI world. Apple is suing OpenAI, accusing the company of stealing trade secrets related to AI hardware through former employees.
That's right. OpenAI is denying the allegations, and the lawsuit could have major consequences for the future of AI innovation. We're joined live by CBS contributor and the Free Press contributing writer, Patrick McGee. Patrick, thank you so much for being with us. We know you're also the author of Apple in China.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Thanks for being with us. This lawsuit is so unusual and it has a lot of interesting points to it. I think one is that these two companies were once partners, and now most of these allegations surround them leaving one company and going to the other. What do you make of this?
Yeah, I would say it's more than that. They're partners. It's that IO, the company that OpenAI founded to get into hardware, is founded by a bunch of people that spent years at Apple.
Right.
We're talking Johnny Ive, the key designer of the iPod, the colorful iMac, basically any iMac you can think of, and of course the iPhone. This is someone who left in 2019, has been working on design for companies like Airbnb and Ferrari, but now he's getting into AI-first hardware, and he's doing so with none other than Sam Altman, basically the person who started the AI wars with ChatGPT 3.5 years ago, and very much embarrassed Apple with sort of making it known to the world just how behind Siri was in next generation compute. So the idea that you're going to couple together AI and hardware is a real threat to Apple, and I think that's basically the motivation for this case.
Wow. Okay, so let's talk about the impact of this lawsuit and the potential outcome here. If this case proceeds, what could this mean for OpenAI?
I mean, OpenAI is a company that filed paperwork to go public, right, to IPO in late May, and they wanted to do so this summer. I think that's already been pushed back, but I think there's still a hope that they do it this year. If you have what's become today the world's most valuable company, once again at $4.9 trillion, suing you for the thing that's distinguishing you most against your big AI rivals that don't have hardware ambitions, like Anthropic or maybe Google Gemini, you just can't have that hanging over you, right? I mean, you sort of can't tell investors your roadmap story if indeed the hardware ambitions might be quote unquote rotten to the core, which is what Apple says. So I think the IPO is probably dead unless OpenAI is able to come out with some vigorous legal response and convince a judge that this case should not proceed. And I have to say, I seem to be in the minority here if you're checking social media or reading other news stories. I don't think Apple's case is all that strong. It is very strong against one mid-level engineer who was sort of stupid enough to write LOL. I found ways to access Apple's proprietary network on like this rogue device that he still had. But Apple extrapolates from there as if the whole company's foundations are therefore suspect, and I don't think that's a strong case.
Right, yeah, it is an interesting thing to read about. It's got these juicy details, and while it seems shady to leave one company and go work for another, that's what I was wondering. What legally, though, does Apple have that these employees did that infringes upon their rights?
Well, let me push back against the idea that it's shady to leave one company to go to another.
That is true. That is true. Right.
Yeah. I mean, just to be clear, the origin story in a certain sense of Silicon Valley is that a guy named William Shockley basically invented the integrated circuit. These 8 people, later known as the Traitorous 8, didn't like working for him, and they went up to set up a company called Fairchild Semiconductor. And then, from there, that company is sort of foundational to how Intel is founded. So California, is not really a state that imposes a big pronouncement on talent going from one place to another. Like Silicon Valley, to some extent, is built on trade theft secrets going from one place to another.
Okay.
And lines are really blurry as to, what does it mean to work at Apple for 25 years? You clearly have a bunch of Apple DNA sort of like in your system, and then you go to another company. What can you use? What can't you use?
Right.
What's still Apple's? What's not? And that's the only, that's something that a jury or a judge is going to be able to figure out. But obviously, if you're dealing with stolen files, well, then Apple's case is pretty good. But I don't think they've really presented any evidence that outside of this one individual, it goes to every level of the company, which is what they allege. I think what you have to remind yourselves there is, what is Apple trying to do with this lawsuit, right? And they are trying to compel discovery on the part of OpenAI. It's a fishing expedition. They're hoping to find more that they don't currently have. And if the case proceeds and just forces OpenAI to do this, that means depositions, that means being hung up on all sorts of legal issues, and that itself could very much, delay, if not smash, their hardware ambitions. And so that would alone be a big win for Apple.
Yeah, sounds like the beginning of a reality show, Patrick, and you could be like the person they come to in the confessional. Well, thank you so much for being with us to help us understand all the details here. We'll continue to follow this lawsuit.
All right,
Thanks
lots
so
to
much.
unpack, for
Yes.
sure. Okay, Patrick, thank you.